Hello, Raiders, students and families. This is your principal, Mr. Bosch. I am excited to have another opportunity to share some information with our families and students today as we are moving towards the next phase of our learning. We, as many of you should know by now, we are beginning our hybrid learning model on Monday, September 14th. And with a change in what we've been doing the first 6 weeks of school, there's obviously a lot of questions and there's a lot of uncertainty about what's going on. So we're hoping that this video will help you understand what it is that we're moving into, clarify questions that you may have, and we're going to do the best to elaborate on a lot of those things today. So to get started, we're going to have our admin team who is joining me today introduce themselves, because they're going to be answering a lot of the questions that have been brought up by our parents and questions that we really just want to clarify for you. So Ms. McCall, go first.
Yes, hello everybody. My name is Leanne McCall. I'm the Assistant Principal for Academics here at Cibola.
Hey guys, Brett Pavey. I'm the Assistant Principal that oversees athletics.
Hey, Corey Semler. I'm the Assistant Principal of Activities.
Hi, I'm Gina Kugel-Brandt. I'm the Assistant Principal for Student Services.
All right, thank you guys. So as I said, we're gonna look at some questions that have been asked. We're specifically gonna talk today about our schedule, what the schedule is gonna look like for students, what the waiver is for, and the process for completing the waiver. We also want to address with you some of our PPE expectations and our protocols for students that are coming to campus. What are after school activities looking like, and really just what choices do families have during this stage of our learning. So we're going to start. I'm just going to give a description of what the hybrid teaching and learning model looks like. I did send a video to our students already. So if you're a parent watching this, know that your students were emailed a description of what the day will look like, but I'll reiterate that right now. So first of all, the goal of the hybrid learning model is to have 50% of our students in our buildings and classrooms each day in order to reduce capacity and adhere to the social distancing guidelines. We have decided to divide our students alphabetically, A through L or M through Z, and attend school in person 2 days a week. So as a student, if my last name is A through L, I have the opportunity to come to school in person starting Monday the 14th and Tuesday the 15th. So I would come to school 2 days a week, and then I would be learning remotely or virtually the other 3 days of the week. If my last name is M through Z, I would be learning virtually Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, but I would have the option to come to school in person on Thursday and Friday. Now that's where we get into the choice. Not all students have to come to campus. It is your choice if you want to come during your designated days based on your alpha order, or you can continue to learn on camera with your teachers. Now, if you are deciding that you want to stay home, you don't want to come to school quite yet, Wednesday is going to be your day to log in to your classes and join your teachers virtually during those regular times. So a typical day is going to look like this. First period is going to start at 7:45 and it's going to end at 8:30. We have 45-minute class periods. First period starts at 7:45 and the last period ends at 12:45. So you're going to go, as a student, you're going to go through to periods 1 through 6 from 7:45 to 12:45. Now, if you're staying home and you're learning virtually, you're going to log in on Wednesdays. Those class times are the same. So your teachers are they're going to set up their Canvas courses, which you've been using the first 6 weeks of school. They're going to set those up and readjust their start times from periods 1 through 6 so that you know when to log in. So I'll give you a good example. Since first period starts at 7:45 and you have English first period, you're going to be with that teacher until 8:30. There is a 6-minute passing period on the regular schedule. So if you have second period math, you're going to join your math teacher virtually, if it's Wednesday, at 8:36, and you'll follow the regular schedule that has been shared with you. So we're hoping that information makes sense to you guys. One question that has been brought up is, why can't students who are doing all distant learning be a part of the hybrid by just watching all classes online? That was taken into consideration as we were coming up with the hybrid plan. And really what it came down to is, it was very difficult for us to put a system in place right now where we could be teaching virtually and in person at the exact same time. So that's why this schedule has been created. We are trying to make it as equitable as possible for all of our students. And I can tell you that Yuma Union High School School District recognizes the value for a teacher to see their students and make those personal connections. So we're going to do the best that we can to make that happen. I'm going to, at the end of this presentation, I'm going to kind of elaborate on a few things that may or may not have been shared with what I just stated right now. So I want to move into some questions that have been asked by our families. And the first question is regarding the waiver. So Ms. KB, can you talk to us about the waiver requirements for students returning to school?
Absolutely. There's a waiver that all parents need to sign and submit before students are allowed to come on campus and to be in classes. And so the easiest way for parents to sign that waiver is to just log into ParentView and sign it digitally. You can also go to the Cibola website and look for the COVID-19 tab, and then there's a drop down. You can print out the waiver, you can bring it in, you can sign it, bring it to school, you can sign it, you can email it to school, but we're asking that all those waivers are turned in by Friday at 5 o'clock, this Friday the 11th, so that we have ample time to plan.
Okay, thank you, Ms. KB. For students and families who choose to continue with distance learning at home, what does your week look like?
So I'll answer that one, Mr. Bosch. So if you're choosing to do Canvas distance learning only at home, you would stay at home 5 days a week. And on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, you would work independently through your Canvas course. You would do your attendance every single day, just like you've been doing in each Canvas course. And then on Wednesdays is when you'll have that on-camera time with your teacher in all 6 of your periods. And the schedule is posted on our hybrid model. And like Mr. Bosch had said earlier, is that first class starts at, if your first period is English, you'll log in at 7:45 and use that link for that. It'll run until 8:30. They're 45 minutes. You'll have 6 minutes in between, and then you'll go to your second period via your Canvas course, and you'll receive instruction that way. You can talk to your teachers that way, ask them questions, get further guidance. And then on the other days, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, you will also have access to your teacher from 1:15 to 3 o'clock with office hours and independent Google Meets and things like that. And that'll give you that time also to work in your groups that you're assigned to and just complete any coursework that has been assigned to you.
All right, thank you, Ms. McCall. Another good question that's been brought up that we want to clarify with our families is, will students in the same household be able to attend in-person classes on the same days? So alpha order, if your last name is B and your last name is T, you live in the same household, can I come to school on the same days? Ms. KB, can you answer that one for us?
Yeah, that's a great question. And we will allow students in the same household to attend school on the same days. We're just asking that as a courtesy, the families call the academics office so that we can plan for that. And if they need the number, it's 502-5700.
Thank you. There's been a lot of good discussion about what certain classes are going to look like, knowing that social distancing and all those things are going to be taken into consideration for students returning to to school. So the question that specifically is, will there be modifications to special classes like PE, music, and art, just to name a few? Mr. Semler?
Yeah, Mr. Bosch, I can take that one. So right now we're actually in the process of developing a plan that balances the importance of engaging students in that well-rounded educational experience we want them to have. And this includes physical education, fine arts, and those other electives that the students are really excited to try new things and partake in those activities. But we understand that there is a need to have modifications to avoid any increased public health risk. And so what we're doing is those PLCs are collaborating and coming up with plans for their areas. And what we just want to ask you to do is please refer to the information provided by your student's teacher for any building or class specific details.
All right, thank you, Mr. Semler. Another question, will there be before and or after school activities offered this year? Mr. Pavey.
Yeah, we realize that's a huge part of the educational process is the activities that take place outside of the classroom. So we've been working for quite a while on putting a plan in place that's going to allow for some of these activities to begin, yet still have the necessary modifications in place to try to avoid increased public health risks or any increased exposure to COVID. So we've been in the process of holding athletic practices for our fall sports for the last few weeks under some specific modified guidelines. And starting on Monday the 14th, we're going to continue to move into the next progression of that. So at this time, if you do have questions about joining any fall sports, whether that be football, volleyball, swim and dive, or cross country, feel free to give the athletics office a call, 502-5710. We can answer any questions and get you on the process to getting cleared so you can get out there and take advantage of that.
All right, thank you, Mr. Pavey. Special education services. What if my student receives special education services? How are we handling that? Ms. KB.
Well, we will ensure that students with IEPs are provided services and special education and related services identified in their individual education plans to the greatest extent possible. We'll give them continued educational opportunities and we'll individualize those based on student need.
Okay, thank you. I got a good question here for Mr. Pavey. What advice do you give to our students to monitor their health prior to coming to school?
Yeah, we try to keep it as simple as possible. If you're feeling sick, if you think you have any symptoms, err on the side of caution and stay home. There's various symptoms associated with COVID-19, from running a temperature to having a dry cough, maybe a scratchy throat, and a list of others. So if you feel like you might have been exposed or you have symptoms that are associated with COVID-19, please stay home. We have a pretty good system in place where teachers can communicate with you virtually, and your teachers will be flexible if you need to stay home to err on the side of caution. So just take it upon yourself when you wake up in the morning or before you go to bed that night. If you're not feeling 100%, we request that you, again, stay safe and stay home to make sure that you are not infected and that you don't come to school and risk the exposure of other people.
All right, thank you, Mr. Pavey. And on that note too, the procedures for attendance and all that is going to stay the same. The biggest thing is protecting not only yourself, but protecting other students during this time. And we can't emphasize that enough, to monitor your own health and log into Canvas from home if you need to stay home. Take your attendance at home. You can do all of those things. Our learning management system is Canvas, and it's there for a reason. It's for you to have access to your materials in the event that does happen. And that's kind of a good segue to the next question, and a very important question is, will all students and staff be required to wear a mask at school? And what are some of the safety protocols that we are putting in place for our students that are returning to in-person learning? Mr. Semler?
Yeah, so we do expect all students and staff to wear a protective face covering or a face mask that completely covers the nose and mouth. We're also encouraging parents to help their student become more comfortable wearing that mask. They can do this by practicing wearing the mask and gradually building up usage time. And if your student's unable to wear a mask at school due to a pre-existing medical condition, please reach out to the student's counselor and the school nurse. And in addition to masks being required, we have some other kind of safety precautions we've taken here at Cibola. We've installed several hand washing stations and COVID-specific signage across campus, hand sanitizer in every classroom. We've implemented the expectation of student workstations being disinfected after each use. So your student will, enter and leave a classroom with a clean workstation. We do not have set capacities within our classrooms, but we have set COVID norms that teachers will be reviewing with our students to ensure the safety of both the students and our staff.
Thank you, Mr. Semler. I kind of talked a little bit about attendance, but Ms. McCall, be very specific with our audience as far as how attendance is going to work, if it's going to be taken. What's that going to look like moving forward?
Yeah, so taking attendance every day is very important. And when you come, if you're choosing to come to school on your 2 days, you will, as the student, will still be taking attendance in the classroom via your Canvas, your response form that you've been using. If it's a scenario like Mr. Bosch had said about, I'm not feeling well and I'm staying home, still get into your Canvas and take attendance just like normal. That procedure is going to remain the same. Based on that data that the teachers receive, they will then be putting it into Synergy, marking their attendance officially in Synergy. We want to do that to ensure that students and families have that flexibility and fluidity to be in the classroom or to be learning at home. And we just want to keep that routine up of marking your attendance on a daily basis. So that will continue.
Thank you, Ms. McCall. As I said in the beginning, I'll reiterate a little bit about in-person learning and distance learning and what is the difference. And I want to make something very clear, crystal clear. Students, families, you have a choice. You can, if you're comfortable coming to school and your last name is A through L, you're going to come to school starting the 14th, Monday and Tuesday, 2 days a week. If your last name is M through Z, you're going to come Thursday and Friday. If you decide that you're not ready to return, Wednesdays is your day to log in virtually, follow the normal bell schedule starting at 7:45 all the way to 12:45. And you will meet with all 6 of your teachers during that time. Now, if you are learning virtually, you are still, I'm going to emphasize this, you are still going to have all of your assignments, all of your tasks, all of your projects. It's all going to be in Canvas, and you are going to have ample time to work on those things independently on your own. Those Wednesday hours are designed for you to log in, be with your other classmates, ask questions of your teacher. We're going to treat that really like a Q&A session for you to make sure that you understand, and I'm speaking about virtual students right now, to make sure you understand what it is that the expectations are of you while you are working from home on your assignments. Now, if you're coming to school in person, each teacher is going to approach that a little bit differently. We're going to try to stick to 1 to 2 lessons a week for you, which can be reiterated to students on Wednesday what those lessons are. It's going to be equitable for all of our kids. You may come on Monday the 14th and have an assignment, an in-class activity, and then on Tuesday, some of your teachers may give you a study hall to work on those things, just like they would do on Wednesday with virtual students. So each teacher is going to approach that a little different way, but you have to log in and you have to be present, whether it's in person or virtually on Wednesdays, to understand what those expectations are. And as Ms. McCall said, take your attendance every day, all 6 class periods. All right, I think I said that. I said too much right there, but hopefully it makes sense. Another question, we're going to switch gears here now. Will students on campus for hybrid learning receive no-cost breakfast? Mr. Pavey.
Yeah, absolutely. Any students that are coming here for hybrid learning will have the opportunity to pick up a breakfast at no cost before school starts.
And what about students who are not on campus? How will they have access to meals?
Yeah, so any students that are not taking part in the hybrid learning, they're sticking with the distance learning. They'll still be able to pick up their no-cost meals. We'll be handing them out on campus from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. And those meals will actually be available for all children 18 years of age or younger. So it doesn't matter if they're a Cibola student or even a district student. If it's a child that's under the ages of 18, they can come by and get a no-cost meal, again, between 11 a.m. and 12:30 p.m., 5 days a week here at Cibola.
All right, thank you, Mr. Pavey. Transportation. Obviously, returning to school requires some transportation for many of our students. Will transportation be provided to and from school is the question. Ms. KB?
Yes, the transportation department will pick up and drop off along all bus routes from the previous school year. And for more information about those bus routes, just go to the district website and click on the transportation tab, and you'll be able to find out specifics.
Okay, all right, thank you for that. One of our last questions we have for this session is, what are the expectations for students arriving on and leaving campus? So Mr. Semler, can you kind of walk through the protocols for that?
Yeah, so when students arrive for their morning classes, it's just important for them to be cognizant of the social distancing and public health guidelines that are going to be enforced here on campus. And just like I mentioned earlier, students are going to be required to wear masks upon arrival and encouraged to make their way to first period when the class starts at 7:45. And so at the end of the day, sixth period ends at 12:45. Lunches are going to be made available, as Mr. Pavey alluded to, for students to grab and eat prior to going home for the day. However, students are going to be expected to leave campus by no later than 1 o'clock in the afternoon. For students who have after-school activities like athletics, they're going to be required to leave campus and return back at their scheduled practice time.
All right, thank you, Mr. Semler. We're really trying to do our best to not have large groups of students huddling before school and doing the same thing after, and that's really the reason why we're trying to stick to the rule of thumb of arriving around 7:30, which is when our buses will arrive, and by 1 o'clock we're going to be clearing our campus off. So thank you for that. What I'd like to do now is just share a little bit of information with you in closing, and this is going to be shared a couple of times. I know it's kind of late notice right now, but open house. We are going to provide an opportunity for our freshmen only and any student that's new to Cibola. So if you're a returning student, this is not an option for you. It's freshmen only and students that are new to Cibola. We're calling it open house. It's more of an informal walkthrough. That's going to be open to our families on Thursday, September 10th from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. There is going to be specific guidelines that are going to be shared with you, and I'll just kind of go through a few of them. We are asking that students come to campus. If you're a freshman, for example, come to campus with your mom, your dad, parent, guardian, but limit it to your immediate family. When you arrive on campus, you have to have a mask on. It should take you approximately 15 to 20 minutes tops to come onto campus. Check to see what buildings are which. We are going to have signs posted. You can, as a student, map out what your day is going to look like going from building to building, see how long it's going to take you to get from class to class during your 6-minute passing period. And really, it's just an opportunity for you to be on campus for the first time, for many of you, to get familiar with your surroundings. And as I said, once you're on campus and you've mapped out your route, you're welcome to leave. Teachers are not going to be available for this, but administrators, myself, and our panel here today, we are going to be on campus to help guide you, point you in the right direction, answer questions that you may have, and just try to make you guys feel comfortable. On that note, we are going to have some some buildings are going to be open, but many of them are going to be closed. And the reason for closing them is because some of them are one-way traffic. So we're opening up the 1s, 2s, and 300s, and this will be sent in a memo. But 1s, 2s, and 3s will be opened up. The 500s building will be opened up. So if you have class in the 500s, you can walk through there and see where your classroom is, for example. And the 700s are going to be opened up. Everything else, the gym, the library, the cafeteria, the fine arts area, those areas are going to be closed off, but you can definitely obviously walk up to that building and know where it is that you're going. So lastly, just we've said it a couple times and we've talked about it, the waiver. The waiver is mandatory for families or for students to be on campus. So get into Parent View, digitally sign the waiver and make sure that that is on file. And as Ms. KB said, we want those to be submitted by Friday at 5 p.m. preferably, so that we know how many have signed it and how many have not, so that we can plan accordingly for our first day of in-person instruction. If you have the downloadable version and you print it out, you can scan and send it to the academics office. You can drop it off at the front office, and if you're a freshman or new to Cibola, we will have a drop box for you during open house to bring your signed waiver. So we'll be collecting them at that time as well. That's a lot of information. Lots of things to go through. We are doing our best to message these things out in a timely manner, so we appreciate your patience. We appreciate your flexibility, and we're excited to have many of our students back, but we understand if you're not ready to be back. Our staff and our teachers are ready for you. We're excited to have you. Everybody's a little bit nervous, and I know you are, but we haven't been in school for 25, 26 weeks. So this is an exciting time. It's a challenging time, but we're ready, and we can't wait to see many of our Raider faces starting next week, September 14th. You guys have a great day, and hopefully this was good information for you.